Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We're really delighted to have you here. I'm Barbara Joseph, and I am in Central Maine. And my colleague tonight joining me with this Air Matters PowerPoint is Suzanne Steele from New Hampshire. And after we go through this, we have quite a few folks with us who will be sharing some of their personal stories. So in the past, we've done a more overview of who we are and what we're so passionate about, which is a whole wellness home concept. Yet the last couple of weeks, we've been breaking that down into sleep matters, water matters, and tonight we're focusing on air. And of course, everyone knows that you can only survive about 3 to 4 minutes without air, but it's also critical to determine what kind of air you are breathing. So we have this whole amazing apparatus in our biology and physiology of how we breathe. And we're taking it in through the nose, yet it's going to permeate throughout the whole body, going through the throat and the lungs. And when people get tickles and start coughing, it's often because the bronchi and the bronchioles are being inflamed and irritated. And then, of course, we have the diaphragm that's going to create that whole pumping so that air, whether it's good or bad, is going to go throughout our whole body and be a very large component of our health. So, Suzanne?
Yes, so there are a lot of effects of outdoor air pollution. You see the cars there, you see these plants that are spewing out gases that probably are not good for us to breathe in. Today I walked by 2 buses that were just sitting there idle, and I literally had to cover my mouth because it just smelled so horrible. But you know, not always do you realize all of these effects. These 2 pictures really tell a lot. You have, from your child and your older person, you have conditions that people have, whether it be asthma or slower development, perhaps even from in the womb, a smaller head. You see these things that are quite concerning to people who may be older. They're not quite as, they're not cognitive, I just can't get that word out. They have poor cognition. That's a tough one. And you can't even think about it. So, you know, from type 2 diabetes to breathing challenges, I know that we've all seen a person that is really challenged, and how can we help them?
Yes, I don't have any facts and figures, but I know that upper respiratory challenges have been on the rise for quite a few years. So we just looked at outdoor air, and I really wasn't so cognizant that indoor air was polluted. And in this diagram, it says that it's 2 to 5 times more polluted, but there are other studies that say, and quote, 100 times more pollution happens indoors than in our largest cities. So this is pretty interesting. As you look around, every single room has a challenge happening in it. There's mold and mildew, and a lot of people are aware in the types of cleaning chemicals they're using now. There are a lot of environmentally friendly ones, but all of the bedding can have flame retardants in them, as well as getting dust and pet dander. There's asbestos, there's flammables in our carpeting, our furniture. Some people, unfortunately, still smoke. In our kitchen, just the outgassing from our cooking is really not healthy. And any of the heating systems that we use, whether it's propane and or wood, can also have an impact. So along with that, there are a lot of pollutants in pesticides, insecticides outside, but when you have your windows open, I think they're going to just be coming right on in there as well. So Suzanne, who's paying the price here? What's going on?
Well, you can see all ages are paying the price. I already mentioned the idea of asthma, but also allergies, other challenges that are pretty severe that you see on the screen. What's really happening is your body is just being compromised. You are having to filter all of that negativity, that poor air quality indoor and outdoor, and it is affecting. You see that poor little boy who's having problems breathing. You see the little boy on the bottom who needs to have something to help him breathe well every day. And then you've got someone in the middle who just feels horrible, and it could be the eyes, it could be the head just pounding. There are a lot of reasons why people are paying the price, and a lot of it is due to the air that we're taking in.
And it's not even unusual to see people with these apparatuses, or for people to just be walking around unhealthy. So the vision is, what if? What if we could create fresh indoor air in our homes and our offices? You know, indoor air that was clean and pure, that seemed like it was the fresh air in the forest, that didn't have any ozone in it. And of course, since we can't have that, we need to look at filtration. And what if that could be energy efficient with green technology, which means a lot to me? That it had multi-stages to take out larger particles and then smaller, very fine particles, so that those don't have to go into your lungs and your bronchioles. Obviously, there has to be a fan to get things moving. So I'm very aware of noises. So I'm very appreciative if there's something that could have a low noise level, and obviously something lightweight and portable.
And you know, one thing that I want to add that's not on that screen is something that regulates automatically. So that if you have changes in your environment, this device is small enough to actually adjust accordingly.
Excellent point, Suzanne. Thank you for bringing that up. So here's the solution that we have. It's part of our wellness home. It's the KENKO air purifier, and it does meet all of those ideal air specifications. And it really complements any home to bring in the very best, fresh, pure air. And you can breathe the NIKKEN way with the KENKO air purifier. Kind of reminds me of little R2-D2. And you can see how easily it fits into our wellness home. And just like we looked at the home previously with so many chemicals and toxins, we actually address all areas of water and air, nutrition, grounding energy with our magnetic technology, wonderful, delicious, whole food, organic supplementation, and personal care products. So we will be highlighting certain areas of this and then go back into our first look overview as well. Do you have anything you'd like to add here, Suzanne?
I think when I look at the home, you know, that since we're focused on air, today I was at the mountain. And, you know, if you can envision yourself driving up to a mountain and you open up your car door, what's the first thing you do? You take a deep, fresh breath of air, right? And it fills your lungs and you feel great. Have you ever been in someone's home, or perhaps your own home, and you take that deep breath of air and you don't feel that good? Well, that's where you want to start thinking. Or if you've been in a salon before and you walk in there and you're hit with these smells that are not good. I will say that we have cats, and we've had cats for many years. And the one story I'd like to at least share from my own experience is we had a woman at our house who was deathly allergic of cats, and I did not know this. And she sat on our couch for 2 hours with no issues. And I know she had no issues because she couldn't believe it by the end of the day, and she saw my cat walk through, and she was astounded. And I know that the air system in the room next to her was doing its job.
That is beautiful. And I'm going to invite other people to share their stories one at a time, unmuting. And I know that I've heard this story from other people, so it's okay if you repeat a similar story. So who would like to start?
I'll if you'd like. I'm Sue Ellen Lexier, and I'm from Central Maine, and we have 2 air filters in our home. And we had a very similar experience with a friend who was highly allergic and was in my house for 2 hours and didn't have a runny eye or even a sneeze. And it was just pretty, she was absolutely blown away. But I was thinking about my mother, and she had breathing issues as she aged. And we were concerned because of the rugs in the assisted living place that she was in, and her breathing was very labored. So we put the air system just to try it out in that room, and my sister called me and said, "Oh my goodness, you should hear Mom. You don't hear her struggling for her breaths right now. She's breathing normally, and she's noticing the difference." And it was a beautiful place, but it was indoors, and Barbara just showed you all the things that can be going on indoors. And when people have some compromised lungs to begin with, those things make a difference. So having this in the room made it so much easier for her to breathe. So we were very happy.
Thank you, Sue Ellen.
I'd like to go, Barbara. This is Angie.
Great.
The wonderful air system was awesome when I was painting. I had a friend drop by, and he saw me in my paint clothes. He says, "Oh, you're painting." He says, "What are you doing and where?" I said, "Right here in the house in the next room." And he said, "No way." And he said, "I cannot smell the paint, and I'm usually very aware and very sensitive to that." And he says, "I can't believe what's going on." And I showed him the air filter purifier, and he said, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that." He says, "It's amazing." So another, story where the way that our air filtration is so beautifully designed to remove all those pollutants and chemicals.
Exactly. So they're not going into the lungs and being dispersed throughout the body, creating headaches and other challenges. Thank you, Angie.
This is Bob. I'd like to add in, I have a customer that I actually spoke with today. She has a teenage daughter who is in the Star Wars, and she likes to paint her fingernails with Star Wars characters, and using all that polish, the odor was affecting everybody else in the family. And she has one of the portable air filtration units, and the daughter would not open the window when she was doing that, and the room was obviously very obvious. So she went ahead and put the air filtration system in there, and no odor whatsoever, even though she was busy working on her nails with Star Wars characters. So
Wow.
just another indication of just how effective it is.
And I love that it's passive. You just put it in there and voila, it's working.
I have something, Barbara Ann. 2 things. First of all, my daughter came up from Miami last week to New Hampshire to spend some time with us. And the first thing she asked me is where's the air filter? Well, I didn't have it in the guest room. She lives in Miami, and she lives in an apartment building on the 33rd floor, and she will not sleep. She's 29 years old, and she will not sleep without her air filter. So that was one of the first things she said. And even though we live in New Hampshire and we have wonderful air quality, as Suzanne mentioned about being in the mountains, we spend quite a bit of time with our wood stoves going. And my other testimony is that 3 weeks ago actually it was 4 weeks ago, when my son-in-law started up his brand new wood stove, they advised to start a small fire, but he thought he would try to get a bigger fire going. And the outgases from the initial fire of the new wood stove were unbearable. And they have a KENKO air purifier, and it was quickly put into the living room. And the living room, I would say, was probably around, probably 400 to 500 square feet. It was an open space. And within maybe 20 minutes, that air was clear. So it was a true testimony to how quickly the air filter works as well.
That's great. I bet the light was up on hot pink and red.
It was.
Yeah. We have time for a couple more. Somebody else want to join in?
Well, I'd like to talk about, we have the air filters in our home too. And my husband and I both have allergies, which it's, pollens, dust, that kind of stuff. So we both have been able to get along without the sinus sprays and then allergy tablets and stuff for years. But what we notice when we have a get together at our home, we will have people that just out of the blue will say, I don't know what it is about your house, but when I came in, my head was all plugged up. And since I've been sitting here, my head is just cleared up and I can breathe through my nose. And it's just really amazing. So, people will just offer that without any, questioning or provocation or anything. It just, the air in your home just feels better. It helps you breathe easier. I'll notice if I do have some kind of congestion or even a little cold going on, when I leave my house, it always gets worse. And I think, oh, my cold is getting worse, or, this isn't going away like it's supposed to. And then 30 minutes after being back home, my head is all clear and everything is all better again. So there is such a difference when you have these air cleaners in your home, compared to other places that don't have nice, clean, filtered air. So we love it. And it's actually helped to relieve us from medications.
Great. And would you just introduce who you are and where you are?
I'm sorry. I'm Sue Gruber. I am a wellness consultant in Ohio. I'm a retired nurse, and NIKKEN is my passion and my love.
Okay. Thank you, Sue. So one more person want to jump in?
This is Elaine Matthews in Pennsylvania, and I have breathing problems. And I remember when my son built his home, I came out to visit him and help move some things in. And
Oh, did you somehow mute yourself, Elaine, or drop off?
hit the mute button by accident. I'm sorry.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, anyway, I went in the house, and you know how a new house has all the smells of the paint and the carpet, and oh my goodness, I started wheezing and I could hardly breathe. I said, "Where's the air wellness?" He said, "Up in our bedroom." I went upstairs, brought it down, plugged it in, and sat on a chair near it, and I could breathe. And in no time, that room was fine that I was breathing. I was so impressed with it and so glad it was there.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you live in a wellness home, there's nothing else like it. I'm not quite sure why that happened. There we go. So I want to thank everyone so much for taking the time to join us and share your stories. I believe everyone can tell that we're really passionate. We want better health for everyone everywhere. And what's so beautiful is we actually have solutions for that. A whole wellness home concept with the ability to help people be healthy in their mind, their body, better quality time and health for their family, that we're making an impact on society. And one of the other big components is that we also can create finances by helping others. So we want to get the message out. We're here every Tuesday night, and we look forward to having you join us and bringing other people on with you so we can spread the good news.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
Well, thank you, everyone.